to our monthly gathering where we get to stop and celebrate and recognize all kind of super cool people. We have a whole bunch of really cool people today to recognize. So we're going to talk about them and celebrate their accomplishments this morning. And we'll start with our most recent winner. Our Employee of the Month for January 2023 is Miss Kristina Winston Owens. Would you step right over here? There you go. Says, I'd like to recommend Kristina for her tireless effort to enrich the working environment of her coworkers. She's quietly taken her time and resources to enhance the private spaces in the facility to create a respite for employees during their breaks. Her thoughtfulness helps staff to feel seen and appreciated. In addition to the effort she's made to enhance the wellness of her coworkers, Kristina has displayed a true passion for helping the vulnerable population we serve. As a member of the behavioral health team, she routinely supports our population as they undertake the difficult task of managing their mental illness, developing tools to improve behavioral choices, and preparing to transition out of the restrictive housing with the skills to live peacefully with others. Kristina has created a weekly trivia challenge that encourages positive interaction among the population as they work cooperatively to solve the challenge. The beauty of the trivia challenge is that they're practicing cooperation, problem solving, critical thinking, and positive social skills in real time. Her professionalism, integrity, and dedication are qualities that truly benefit the individuals she serves and is well deserving of this recognition. No doubt about that. How about? Great. Thank you very much. We'll get our... All right, hang on one second. We're going to give you a coin with the Sheriff's Office coin. We're going to give you a credit card for 8 hours of leave off. You get it free. And we're going to give you a nomination, and you've got a tumbler in front of you over there. All right? Job well done. Congratulations. Okay, so our Officer of the Month for January 2023 is Miss Christina Tetterton. On January 4th, while on post in the Mobile Command Unit, Corporal Tetterton received an arrestee for processing. Corporal Tetterton began the pat search of the arrestee and noticed a hard object in the upper right leg area of the arrestee. Being unaware of what the item was and the inability of the arrestee to get the item, Corporal Tetterton conducted a strip search inside the MCU. Strip search resulted in the seizure of 5.1 grams of heroin with fentanyl, 10.6 grams of cocaine with fentanyl, and the scale. The search also resulted in the added charge of contraband in a penal institution, possession of controlled substance, and possession of controlled substance with intent to resale. Corporal Tetterton's attention to detail and thorough searching of the arrestee prevented the arrestee from smuggling fentanyl, cocaine, and heroin into our jail facilities. Corporal Tetterton's actions, knowledge of DCSO policy, and professionalism is a reflection of what an outstanding officer and Officer of the Month represents in DCSO. No doubt about that. There we go. Congratulations to you. There we go. Congratulations. Hang on one second. We're going to give you a ribbon for your uniform. There you go, with one of our pins. Here's a card for 8 hours of leave off. Well deserved for that. And here's your nomination, and you have a tumbler at the seat. Congratulations. Job well done. Thank you. Appreciate you. So we're catching up a few months that we've staggered and had some misses. So our Employee of the Month for December 2022 is Miss Joshilyn Baker. Says, it is with pleasure I nominate Josh Baker for Employee of the Month. The way she takes initiative is nothing short of amazing. She's constantly helping others beyond her community, and in doing so has helped make a better life for many who are vulnerable. An example of this was our first year of the Safe Surrender event, which is an event that allows individuals nonviolent outstanding arrests to surrender in a safe environment. This was our first year assisting, and we're only expected to hand out info about the Steer and Clear program. After having a few conversations with some of the individuals and seeing that this may be the only opportunity they get to be assistance in what they needed, she quickly went into action to help the individuals. With that being said, we didn't have a computer or printer amongst other things needed. Josh took charge, pulled out her cell phone, and started to work. She called our booking department and asked them to print out any paperwork. She emailed it to them immediately. She then spoke with one of the clerks and was able to get assistance with any requirements she was able to print. The clerk also assisted her with getting some of the attendees in the indigent docket, which could possibly get court fees and costs waived. The process took a lot longer, but she got it done and were able to assist about 50 people during this event, all without equipment and supplies normally needed to institute such an effort. She took the initiative to do something to help her community. She identified a need and started something from scratch to make things better for others, and her work has had a lasting impact on her peers and this community. Whether it's assisting at the rescue mission or helping those walking in and asking questions, she gives everything to the DCSO in our community. Let's give her a round of applause. Great. Job well done. There we go. There we go. There we go. I see Miss Nelson up there, don't I? I see her right there. You see her up there? You see family too? All right, there's a coin. We want to give you a coin for that. We want to give you well-deserved 8 hours of leave off, and we'll give you your nomination for Miss, there we go, and we'll give you a tumbler at the seat as well. Congratulations, job well done. All right, so our Officer of the Month for December 2022 is Mr. Christopher Rickman. Can you step right here? There we go. Said I'd like to nominate Deputy Christopher Rickman for Officer of the Month. From day one, he just fit. He's a great deputy to work with and definitely makes a warrant division a better place. He recently displayed his superpower, a photographic memory. On November 10th, former DCSO employee Michelle Senari, how about that? It's a long time. I practiced all morning. Michelle T. from 1993, her Ford 1993 Ford Bronco was stolen. That same day, the vehicle was used to burglarize former Tennessee Speaker of the House, Beth Harwell's home. December 8th, warrant officers were sent an email with a vehicle description and a photo asking them to be on the lookout. December 13th, Deputy Rickman clocked out and proceeded home in his personal vehicle. While at a red light, he noticed a vehicle matching the description, and as the vehicle accelerated past him, he was able to positively match the plate. Deputy Rickman watched the vehicle pull into a gas station as he parked nearby and observed while relaying information to Metro Police. He watched the vehicle leave and continued to observe from a church parking lot as they pulled into a driveway to unload items when MNPD arrived. The occupants quickly got back into the vehicle and fled. The air unit maintained visual through Laverne and Smyrna, Nolensville and Franklin before the vehicle crossed back into Davidson County and eventually wrecked, where they were shortly apprehended. Along with all the other stolen items recovered from the address, a total of 4 individuals were arrested and taken off the street and charged with numerous criminal offenses. Deputy Rickman's attention to detail, unbelievable memory, and quick thinking helped get these individuals off the streets. How about that? Great job. Great. Look at this.
I looked away.
There we go. Let's see, we're going to give you your ribbon for your uniform, and we'll give you a credit card for 8 hours of leave off, well deserved for that. There's your nomination, and we have a tumbler at your seat as well. Congratulations, job well done. Appreciate you. We've been trying to get you since October.
I know, I had a whole lot of stuff going on.
That's all right. We got you, though. We got you. We got you. So our Employee of the Month from October 2022 is Miss Latesia Appleton. So we'll give her, there we go. It says in November, prisoner processing specialist Latesia Appleton noticed her coworker was not acting normal and showed signs of duress. She notified her supervisor what was happening, and her supervisor took actions to send the employee home. Appleton acquired a phone number next of kin, and she, along with her supervisor, escorted the employee to checkpoint, where Appleton waited in the car with her until she was picked up. Appleton showed a level of concern that we all should have in regard to safety and well-being of our fellow coworkers. Her calm demeanor and decisive actions helped keep an employee calm during this entire situation. I feel that Latesia Appleton's quick actions ensured that her fellow coworker made it home safely after falling ill at work, and is deserving of recognition of such, and we do too. Thank you very much. There we go. We'll get our picture. There we go. Hang on one second. We'll give you your coin. There's one more goodie. We'll give you 8 hours of leave off to take with that. Don't be selling that. And there's your nomination. We have a tumbler at the seat as well. Congratulations. Job well done. I told you we got some super cool people doing a whole lot of really good things. I mean, it's important to think about what everybody's role is here, and whether it's helping and steering clear and going to just hand out paperwork and turning into action and helping people get their license restored and their life back on track, or In Mr. Rickman's case, where he heard a instruction days before, and you never know. I don't know, there's been big debate in Nashville about whether you need license plate readers or not. He did a good job without a reader, and so who knows what that could have or should have done in preventing other things that go on. But each one of these folks who work here, I love to sit up there and listen to their story about how they got here. By the way, 3 of us are from Nashville. That's pretty rare. And just talking about how you got here. And the funny part to me, and we should all just stop and say this, some days none of us knew this is what we wanted to do. You know, 3, 4, 5 years old, there's not a soul said, I want to work in the jail, ever. And so you should just celebrate that, right? Someone years ago called us misfits. I don't care, we're the best misfits there are. You know, what does that mean? We just all ended up here for a variety of reasons. And I love hearing some of the stories. Miss Tetterton's story was that she was working at a place, you had to be pretty old, called Blockbuster. She was working at a place called Blockbuster on some afternoon or some evening, and some irate customer was mouthing and screaming and saying bad words, and she was working there, I assume trying to get these tapes swapped out or whatever. You young people don't even know what a tape is probably, but she was having this conflict, or this person was having a conflict with her, and how she de-escalated that, we wouldn't have called it back then, and how she calmed down the person. There so happened to be a person in that store who saw that whole experience and walked up and said, you need to work with us. Watching you handle that situation, you'd be great working for us. And would it shock you if I said it was Panda Atkins? How about that? Who was, I mean, she's a rock star. But what she's done here, but then she finds someone who is now, 20 years later, doing that same thing by helping, you know, discover people or process people in and out of a booking room or in mobile booking. And so I'm going to ask you to be Panda Atkins, right? When you see that person, that's who we want working here, right? Walk up and tell them that. Give them my number. You know, we need that person. We need Miss Tetterton here. And it's hard to find. It's not a farm system. We're not growing future people somewhere. You know, we want a bunch of misfits who come here for all sorts of reasons but have the temperament of Miss Tetterton. Is Rusty in here? All right. Can someone get him to leave so I can tell this story about him? I'm afraid he'll. So you may have heard this story before. I've never told it in front of Rusty. So 1988, I came to work here. And what coming to work here meant in 1988 was, head on up there, be here Monday. And so you went up there, and this big old thing called CJC, and I'm not exaggerating, I know we all tell these stories, training couldn't be spelled, much less done. We didn't have a training. We just went where we went to work. It was overcrowded, all kinds of problems. It's still hard to believe, let people smoke back then, but you couldn't see through the smoke. There was three times the number of inmates supposed to be, all these crazy things. But without training, without any kind of idea, I just thought this is what I wanted to do. I get here and they tell you to go up there. So I was in a place called rear holding, which was the area back then where people were booked and then sent to the first, some people would call it almost the drunk tank, the holding cell, whatever you want to call it. But if I'm fair with you, I mean, I'm 20 years old, 21 years old, 22, something like that, and I didn't have any idea what the job was. I was a misfit too. But if I'm honest with you, I saw the movies. I saw TV. You know, I saw whatever we all saw before you came to work here. So I'm in this area called rear holding. You don't have any training. I'm scared to death because I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And there's a whole bunch of people there, and very few of them wanted to be here, including the staff. So on this particular day 2 or 3, I'm standing in this rear holding area kind of waiting on whatever was supposed to happen next, and I hear coming around the corner this ruckus. And I hear this guy mouthing loud, I didn't steal no car. I told you I didn't. And I'm thinking, here it goes. This is what I came for. I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is what I'm supposed to do. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm just thinking it's time when they get around the corner, that person gets around the corner, it's time. I don't know what we're going to do. So on this day, turning the corner, and here comes a person. I don't even think we had uniforms back then. It didn't feel like it. The difference between the inmate and the staff, you couldn't tell. And it just felt like, and I turned and I see this guy who so happened to be Rusty Owens, who I didn't know at all. And he's trying to escort this guy who's mouthing about he didn't steal the car, with a whole bunch of adjectives in there and a whole bunch of volume in there and a whole bunch of juice inside of him that need to come out. And it's about to happen. And so I'm thinking, it's time. I got to get ready. It's time to go when he gets here, and it's going to start flying, and we're flying. And they start walking toward us. And Rusty's didn't know him. He's kind of halfway escorting the guy to go to rear holding. And it's from here to the lobby of where we need to get him to, and I'm sitting right in the middle of it. And he's cussing and wailing. And he said, I didn't steal no car. And I just felt like, I thought my job was, yeah, you did. I mean, I don't know. No one told you what to do. And so he's all mouthing and jacked up, and I'm sitting there, and Rusty Owens, he says, I didn't steal no car. And Rusty goes, I know you didn't, but I need you getting an innocent cell on the right. And you know what? It's exactly what Panda saw Miss Tetterton do in a Blockbuster. We're not here to argue about whether you stole a car or not. It's none of our business, none of my business. I need to get you in that cell. And I've told this story 1,000,000 times. Don't let him fool you. He hadn't been trained that way. That's just instinct of how to get someone to do what you want them to do. And if you could flip that, put it in cans and sell it, we wouldn't have all the problems in the world, a lot of the problems in the world. So it's an instinct, it's a person, it's an attitude. And I really think we need a bunch of Rusties by all means, and Miss Tetterton. And there's no way to really measure that until that's happening. So I just ask you to do this in your own mind, right? Most people would never think they want to come to work here. We all laughed about how we got here, you know, and you should laugh too. You knew somebody. There's probably been days when they talked you into working and you probably go, they didn't really, what they tell me to come here for? You know, some of the most disgruntled employees usually ask their family to come work here. I've always found that interesting. But I just ask you to find the person out there, right? There's no group of people perfectly trained to want to come work here. It's us trying to find people and give them the tools to do it. And you may be here 35 years later. You may be still working in mobile where that skill of de-escalating someone in a Blockbuster is every day in a booking room. So I just ask you to find people, help us find people. We've been working hard in the last, 2 to 3 years to try to raise our staffing levels in the correction side. It's a tough line of work. It's really tough when there's not a natural base of people to go ask to come work here. And let's be honest, there's a chunk of people you don't want working here in this line of work. And so you're trying to explain what we're looking for. We're looking for how Rusty Owens handled the situation, not a 300-pound, I can bench press the building. That makes me more qualified to do the job. It doesn't. And so I just hope you'll help, you know, along the way. It doesn't matter. I was at a Twice Daily store in Bellevue, I believe it was, a couple of years ago. The coolest, nicest young man in the world working behind there. I said, man, what's your name? Why don't you come work for us? Problem was he wanted to make it big in music for some reason, and we didn't have any guitars here. But I thought he was the coolest guy in the world. What a great attitude, working in a pretty tough place. So don't forget that. We're looking for misfits. I'm not offended by that word. We all ended up here by different ways, and I think we do really good work in what we do. And so let's don't forget that. We're trying to find, I think, some good and people who we're trying to help change their own life. So So what else do we have? Yeah, so we've been working on with the FO group, the part-time program that we started. And I think for a lot of reasons, it's been helping us get a lot of things done. I think in some ways, 70 or so today on payroll, working shifts all over the buildings. We've had some focus groups with them to try to understand what's working for them, what's not. Really fascinated with that whole experiment, because what you find is a lot of us came to work here when you wanted to, you thought you was going to stay and get a pension and retire. Most 25, 30-year-old people don't care about that. And so we're trying to find that person who can come and work. Been really successful, I think, so far. We're going to keep working to do that so we can keep our buildings hopefully staffed at a place in a way that they need to be. Another thing for the last year we've been working on is to try to improve the quality of the food and or snack for our staff in the facilities. Just to be real candid with you, that's not a requirement that we provide a meal or a snack. It's not a requirement that we do that, but it's the right thing to do. And historically, jails and prisons would provide an extra tray, dish up the food, and that's what you would get as a snack or a meal for your shift if you were working on post, most jails or prisons. And for various reasons over the years, that's been kind of harder to do. And quite frankly, when we came here, a lot of us 30 years ago, we had a thing called the guards table. And you go in there and you dish out something out of the own tray, whatever. So we've changed over the years, but we've more recently kind of gone into, with Trinity helping us through a third party, they're bringing food, bringing a snack to everyone who's on post, and I think it's working really well. We've got a lot of things going on. It's in the facilities primarily, of course, but I hope it's a way to improve, give them a quality snack while they're on post. Some folks were in here years ago from New York, I think, doing some research, and they're the ones who kind of first told me that if you work 12 hours, the likelihood that you get hangry is pretty high. So if you got 12-hour shift on concrete and you're standing there and you get hangry and you got to deal with people who are already angry, then you got a real crash course. And so my theory was, let's find a way to take the hangry out. If we can give something along the way, and by the way, these are pretty big snacks. They're not just candy bars, so there's a lot to it, and we're trying to give you something halfway healthy if you want that. If you're like me, I don't want the healthy thing, but I want something that can keep me going. I think it's working really well, and I hope you guys that are in the facilities can feel that and see that. We're spending a lot of money trying to make sure everybody has one, but it's important that we all remember it's one snack per shift per employee. It's not how many can you get in your pocket and it's how many you can take back to your buddies. It's really one, so we can make sure everybody gets something. We're trying to feed all shifts, and so. But I think that's going well. We've got it going out in the facilities. If you don't work in a correctional facility, that's who we're trying to feed, because they don't get to leave to go eat, right? The rest of us get to go eat, and so that's the reason every building doesn't have it. There are some small buildings out on the Harding campus that we're trying to arrange and may have already started doing this, trying to take them some of the food, because we can't put coolers in every building because of the size and the shape of it, but we're going to make sure everybody gets access to that. So just trying to help improve that as we go as well. Anything else? You got anything? Chief Hudson? Chief Ford? Chief Wilkes? Wow. Yeah, need to keep Mylena Pugh in your thoughts. At a horrible situation this week with her son is out today, and also Christy Bratcher's mother passed. Her services today, yeah, just keep Mylena in your thoughts, and Christy as well. Just a lot going on, and very, very, very sad state for any parent. Let's just say it that way. So very, very sorry for her. Anything else? Anybody else? All right, so let's do this. Let's get some food. By the way, our management team is this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Is it 3 or 2? 2. All right. You know why we're doing this? How about this? 3 years ago now, you know what happened? Remember the C word? This was it. This week was when we came to work and went, oh my God, we got to send people home. They'll be back next week. Right? So we sent people home, certain positions. And then in a couple of weeks, juggling all of that, we had a monthly management meeting. They were telling you can't even be in a room with your family, much less people at work. So we were living the way we're supposed to live. So we have this Zoom meeting, first time ever. So we made sure everybody had computers and everybody went their own way. And then if you don't know, we have 60-something people in the management team or unit, right? So if I had it on film, I'd show it right now. It'd be great. But this was our first shot at 60 people on a computer, which we'd never done, trying to have a meeting. Now, if you ever saw it, there's a great Saturday Night Live skit about it. It was classic, and we were it. We didn't know how to mute, unmute. We didn't know how to talk, not talk. We didn't know who was talking. It was horrible. So I said a couple of months ago, we get back to March, we're going to have our management meeting on Zoom, just because we can, and just because we want to relive a few minutes. Now, this isn't very professional. It's not very nice to talk about your colleagues. If she were here, I would tell this story anyway. All right? So I'm not talking behind Pam Hale's back, but it's worth everybody hearing. We got to have something to go away with, right? So we were having these Zoom management meetings. In the middle of all that, Marcia Travis, Chief Wilkes, and others, myself, were presidents of associations, and you got to run associations, which we'd never done before, and all this stuff. And so, unfortunately, Marcia was being sworn in as the new president, which is a huge deal. And normally you'd be in a big environment and all these things going on, but you got to still do the formal proceedings and all that. So on this day, we were invited and snuck our way into this Zoom meeting of Marcia Travis taking the oath of office to be the president of the American Jail Association. Right? Big deal. It's a big deal. And thank God we're going to be a part of it. So we tell everybody, I don't even know if we told Marcia, we tell everybody, let's go on there so we can watch Marcia get sworn into this big deal. Well, how cool. So we all get ready to do that. So there's 60 of our management members jumping on the Zoom. And sure enough, somebody, I forgot, Maryland or somewhere, is reading her the oath of office. And she goes, okay, or the person says, okay, raise your right hand and repeat after me. Well, you know, on these screens, you got a whole bunch of faces. And I keep thinking, why is Pam Hale? and she was verbatim, I do solemnly swear, yes, I'll be the president. So Pam Hale is still the president of the American Jail Association. We saw her get sworn in, we know. I got so caught up in Pam, I forgot about Marcia even getting sworn in. So Pam's a great, but so we had some fun. But we're going to have our 2 o'clock today just to relive what a Zoom with 60 people. And is Darlene McClung in here? I mean, Darlene can sing on Zoom too, if you don't know. I mean, it happens. It happens. So I'm just saying, we get going and we just mute her. She kept singing, but we just, no. Anybody have anything else? Hey, I appreciate what you do, every one of you. These folks are recognized by you and their peers, and I would ask you all to find the people who are doing the work like these folks so we can recognize them each month. It's important to keep it going. All right, let's have some food and fellowship. Great rest of your day.